fine.
Okay, public comment? I'll review minutes of the meeting, VLC answer about the prior minutes, and basically it says Jim and I can approve them, or we can just leave them blank and move on.
Yeah, they said there's nothing in the law saying that they have to be signed. They said that you can make a motion just stating simply that there's new select board members now.
Or based upon representations of the two least trustworthy members of the select board. And for my part, I will say that that's a fair representation of what happened in the meeting. Denny, maybe you agree with me? And
I'll agree with you.
based on that, I move that we approve them. And
Second?
that you guys are
Out
just
of it.
relying on us.
Yeah, exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think it's good to have it, not to just leave it blank, but to actually have it in the record
Yeah.
that we've, that
Yeah.
you both approve.
So
them.
all those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Are we
Okay.
voting? Aye.
I don't know.
Mhm.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
All right, I guess we have the minutes of March 11th to go over and approve.
Yeah, so, I had, a couple, really one suggestion. I thought, this is not an error, but, in number 10, where it talks about, Howie Brousseau and the 250th anniversary of Vermont, I was thinking you might want to put after that, president of the Western Historical
Okay.
Association, just to indicate why we chose Howie's name out of a hat.
Mm.
And I also had a question about the executive session. It said that we went into executive session to discuss a matter of, I can't find these minutes, but to discuss a personnel matter.
It might be pinned. See, there's a paperclip on your meeting.
Go to the 14th, the end of the,
Yeah, I don't even, 14, okay.
no, not 14th there, but that town,
Town meeting.
On
No.
the sign,
Yeah.
it says Lisa Newton Howard's.
oh, just,
Oh, right, okay. Oh, yeah. It says that we went into executive session to discuss personnel matters. I don't think that was a personnel matter, was it?
it sort of was. I think it was. And as we follow up on that, before we follow up on that, I've got to call into the Secretary of State
Okay,
to
great.
just clarify exactly
Right.
what our, what our obligations or what our, what leeway we have in that
Yep.
regard. I read through the statutes twice, and half the time I said, okay, we can do this, and then half the time I said, well, maybe I ought to get some clarification.
Got it.
Mhm.
That's great. Did anybody make a motion on minutes of the March 11th?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so
So
much.
is that good enough?
I appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank you very much. It's very,
Yeah.
it's very
Yeah,
efficient.
yeah.
can I use
I've-
your pen here? Rather than
You
pen
can
it
tell
there.
I was a star in penmanship.
It looks like,
Yeah.
it looks like doctor writing.
This is the March 11th
Scribbling
minutes.
pad.
Well, this is coming to me to sign, is that right?
Yeah.
Did you just hand this to me?
That's the February
Go ahead.
25th minutes.
Did you, are you gonna? No.
No,
This is,
this too?
no, this is just in my
So the one that
package.
Katie has, I think, is February,
Okay.
that she probably doesn't need to sign. I just need the March 11th signed by the current.
Okay, well,
Well,
we're signing them anyways.
We're just signing them all.
They gotta get
Thank you.
get your practice in.
Yeah, right.
Alright, so I guess the next one is, review and accept town meeting minutes.
I just got the edits, I haven't.
So I sent Kim some edits that mostly have to do with just some words left out here and there.
Yeah.
And then a correction of the source of the money for the library grant.
I haven't figured out how to reincorporate that, like in brackets or something, because nobody actually said those words, they just said,
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
they just said grant money, whatever.
Well, you wrote down what she said, but what she said wasn't quite accurate, so I guess it
Yeah,
does,
so
what do we do about that?
I will fix it, however, I just got them.
Oh, no, that's all
And
right,
I
yeah.
will have to have you table it for the next.
Yeah, okay, table that, we can do that. Kelly's supposed to be here, but.
Kelly, Kelly is no longer an employee.
Oh,
Oh,
Really?
yeah, as of yesterday, day before.
Well, she has some days off coming for the rest of this week, so today was really her last day, actually,
Yeah, but she found out
yesterday.
yesterday.
Yeah, and just to clarify what it was, she was she has a local hire. Local hires have contract terms of, I think it's 120 days. And according to her contract right now, it would terminate on Saturday. But we had been working, or my higher ups have been working over the last several months to get an extension to that, and they were confident that that would happen. And we found out yesterday it wasn't gonna happen, so there we go.
Okay,
So, do you want to talk about, Jim and Denny and folks, do you want to talk about the proposal that we sent out to you?
again,
Yeah, hang on, do I have it?
I didn't have anything.
I looked, the one I had looks really good, and I think it lays out.
Okay.
But basically, what we're talking about is a sort of post-river. In other words, when we get through all our shorter term stuff, we're looking to get a list based on mostly the first public meeting we had regarding flood recovery or disaster recovery in general. And some of the other ideas, trying to develop catchment areas where we can, soften the impact or extend the impact of floods over a long period of time. And as well as trying to address flood proofing houses and adjusting drainage so your basement doesn't flood, but a whole raft of things like that. And my understanding is that we need to have a group of as many of us who want to participate have a meeting, not during a select board meeting when we have a whole other agenda, but you mentioned 4 hours. I think an hour and a half would be more than enough to go through all this stuff and just develop a priority list that we can look to, hopefully, later this year when we're a little bit less fractured with all the short-term stuff we're still working on. Am I saying that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got it exactly right, Jim. So I'm gonna sort of repeat probably a little bit of what you said, but the post rivers projects and votes, we'd make it abundantly clear that we're not gonna revisit the dam or the bridge. I think the next point that I would want to make up there is we're, I'm just with FEMA. We're here at your pleasure. It's not our plan, it's your stuff we're working on, and we're just supporting you moving your process forward. And that's the extent of our involvement. And if you don't want us there, that's fine. I don't have a dog in that fight. And, you know, and yes, we would take the long list of notes that I did on the big pads, and Maggie typed up that night, the first of the last two community
Yeah.
meetings. And take that long laundry list of items, kind of a big wish list, and pare it down and refine it and get it down to a manageable number of discrete, actionable projects. Probably in the range of maybe 10 or 12, somewhere like, something like that, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've already sort of scoped it in my own head, you know, and I think it's very doable. And I said in my email back to you, I said 4 hours, really knowing that I think 2 maximum would really do the job. And so anytime you want to proceed with that, I'll be available, and we can just, you know, set aside an evening where we can do it. I would like it if you kind of determine a group of maybe a dozen people that are interested and reasonable and interested in moving the process forward and not trying to hold anything back.
Wondering if the
Western
flood
Flood,
recovery committee
yeah.
would be, that would be perfect for that. And we have a meeting. On the
Well, Jim,
how long is 28th, isn't it, of April? Do I have that right? For what date? Oh, a scheduled meeting of the flood
Recovery.
resilience
Resiliency Committee.
committee.
I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like I don't either.
I don't remember that there was a date set, Jim.
Yeah,
But can I, at the risk of repeating both you and Jim, so this is to make plans for what we're gonna do beyond the dam and the bridge, the next steps of recovery and resilience work in town. Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Would any of that work include work in the rivers as far as removing trees and gravel?
It's up to you.
I think that would, in my world, that absolutely would be on that list.
I mean, the biggest one I've got is the Greendale Brook.
Yep.
This Debbie, are you trying to say something? You're on mute. Or we're muted or something.
Still are, Deb.
No, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
It looks like
Okay.
she's on.
Okay.
Oh, there.
Um,
Yeah.
my recollection of that list was that there were things that were related to flood resiliency, but there were a lot of other things too. I mean, I don't remember the list, but there were things like get a town manager. There were things like you need affordable housing, you know, so the list is beyond, in my recollection, just things that have to do with flood resilience.
I think you're right, Deb, and I think that, in my own opinion, we ought to not be constrained by floods, but I think we should be constrained by disasters. I think this should be a disaster recovery focus, not on, you know, housing or a town manager, that sort of thing. I think that would maybe, you know, I don't know, that's just my own opinion. I'd be interested in y'all's opinion.
I myself, I don't think we need a town manager. I think we have to look through all the programs that are out there and compare them, because there's overlapping and duplication in a lot of these programs. And I think you gotta cut some of them loose. And then once you pare them down to something manageable, you can work with them. But all I see with a town manager is extra costs, extra programs that you probably won't need. And we've been doing pretty damn well by ourselves. And we're not that big of a town to have a town manager. And there's a town not far from here. A few years ago, tried a town manager. they ended up going pretty near bankrupt and they canned the whole thing. So you wanna look at your cost and all the fallout from one before you go jumping into one.
It seems like all of those different points from the town meeting have to do with lots of different things. I think we probably want to, as you suggested, pare it down to particular topics like flood resiliency, look at those issues. Get a committee that's going to look at that. Some of the other issues that Debbie just mentioned, the housing and town manager maybe, but some of those are in the town plan and are part of the points that are recommended for discussion in the town plan, which seems to me to be a
Duplication.
Broader.
Well,
different
Rich
issue.
just sent around the thing that a bill they're working on up Montpelier, passed the House in the Senate. And if you went through the nuts and bolts of it, most of that stuff that's in that bill is a duplication of stuff that's we've already got.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah.
And so I don't really know why they want to duplicate it other than create another bureaucracy.
But similar when I read it.
Denny, I just want to go on the record. I was not suggesting that we either should have a town manager and or affordable housing. I was just reminding us that that the list that was created contains a lot of things on it that don't have to do with flood resilience.
Yes, there is a lot of stuff that needs to be done, but they get shifted sideways and the good intentions get bad things added to them.
Well, my personal opinion, although nobody asked for it, was that I think we have a lot of stuff on our plate right now as it is, and trying to get a list of 10 to 12 other things that we should be doing seems like a lot of work, but that's just my personal opinion.
Well, is it because somebody wants to change Weston to make it look like where they came from, or what? Because I see a lot of effort to change Weston from what it's been to where a lot of people have come from. And if that's what they want, why the hell did they move here in the first place? To change it. They weren't satisfied with it, but yet they spent a ton of money buying a house and making a residence here. It doesn't sit well with me being a long life resident, that's all.
But I think if we focus hard on certainly on, we could focus just on flood resilience. We could also focus on disaster resilience, but that wouldn't involve housing or managers or any of that stuff. And, you know, I just think, and my own personal opinion is in an hour, you could compile a list like that. I think FEMA community assistance would be a big help in that, because they've seen these sort of things before. And then we just, you know, stick it in some file and
We have it.
and we've got it, and we can you know, take a closer look at it later. Some point in the future.
I had Shauna get me a list of state land, federal land, prairie land, and conserved land. And Weston's got, I'm going to use round figures, roughly 23,000 acres in it. And when you add all the others up, the feds have got about 9,800. The state has 1,000, prairie has 500 or 600. Then you start adding in all these conserved lands. There isn't a hell of a lot of land left around.
Is it about 20% of the acreage in Weston is basically,
That would be the top end of it.
yeah.
You're down to 10 or 15% of the land in Weston. And then that doesn't even factor in taking out what's affected by the rivers and the setbacks you have to have from the rivers. So there's not a lot of land left in Weston to do a damn thing with.
Well, so for Mark's purposes here, we could ask the Weston Flood Resilience Committee to take a look at those items that are on that were generated at that town meeting. To, I don't know who does this, but anyway, to convene that committee and take a look at that list and at least start there. For some other projects that we might take on that would improve the flooding situation in
Yeah.
Weston, and then address, yeah, of course, there's a ton of stuff that we could address in town, but we have to take it a little bit at a time.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean,
But in terms of changing the character of Weston, I think, to me, that's absolutely not what we're looking to do. We're just trying to figure out how to
Be prepared.
be better prepared. And,
Well
you
said.
know. So I don't even think we I don't think we necessarily need a motion for this, but I'll see to it that the Flood Resilience Committee at its next meeting devotes a bit of time to this. And maybe, I think the best thing is to come up with a subcommittee that can,
Do disaster,
yeah, just go through this,
Right, broader.
this
I like the
homework.
idea of broader.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
The idea of broader.
Oh,
as you
broader,
were
yeah,
saying,
right.
Disaster,
Yep.
if they were willing. to do
yeah,
so.
yeah. Okay. That's all, if that's good with y'all,
That's great.
then we'll go.
It's good with
do you
me.
have anything else you'd like to add?
No, that was way too easy and I appreciate it because I gotta drive back up to Williston right now, so.
Have a
All right.
good-
Well, have
Yeah.
a
Drive
good one.
safe.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Did you have pizza?
No, I had already had dinner when you
Oh.
called me. I had the mac and cheese down at the Great American Grill. I
Okay.
recommend it.
Oh, it's very good.
Thanks for being here, Mark.
New
Thank you.
American Grill.
You American, that's it.
Yeah, nag is.
Oh, instead of gag, that's probably.
Yeah.
You're done, Mark, I like that.
Oh, that was quick.
That really works for me.
Oh,
Oh
God.
my God, that was awesome.
Going out on a high note, all right.
Thank you for coming.
All right, next one's library wanting to participate in the
Okay.
drafting of the Rivers project.
Debbie,
Can't hear you
I
again.
think,
Take
Deb,
yourself off of mute
Oh,
again.
sorry. The reason that I wrote the memo to the select board about the river project is because the access to the library in the future is a big deal for us. And I just want to make sure that the library will be given the opportunity to participate in the design and the application process as it moves forward. I'm sure that the town is going to be involved in this design process. We just want to make sure that we're part of it so that the design doesn't get too far down the road and get locked in and not be able to change. So that's all I have to say.
well,
I think I'm not exactly sure what the next steps are for the Rivers project, and we've gotten those forms, but I'm not sure what those forms do other than just we sign them and make it official that it's the town of Weston, but there's as far as I could see, there was no description of the plan. They were talking about 30% of the design. There's no design in those forms that we got. So when is that design getting written up? When is because that's, just a second, that's what Debbie, on behalf of the library, is interested in being involved in, is the design part. But when does that design part start? I know it's partially done, but when does it?
if I understand it correctly, they have a placeholder design, which is just a preliminary design, that, has a
There's a bridge in
Pony
there.
Trust Bridge, there's a
Right.
bridge in it. And the bridge is wider and a little bit higher. And they also have a plan for the dam as well. But let's just talk about the bridge, because that's really the only thing we're concerned with.
Yeah, right.
So they've got that placeholder. That was their 10%, that sort of design. The next step, getting from 10 to 30, is mostly a costing exercise. And you've got the big pieces in, you gotta buy one new bridge abutment, you gotta, maybe do a little work on the far side abutment, but maybe not. You gotta buy a new bridge, you gotta close the road, you gotta, do all the
Paving.
things you gotta do. And at that point, they're gonna have a dollar number, just as they'll have a dollar number for the dam. And that'll be the end of this, end of April, and I'm trying to get some more. I wanna say that I traded calls with Alyssa Savetto today, so there may be some new news on this, but my current understanding, having not spoken to Alyssa for a couple of weeks, it is that they're gonna get to a rough cost number for this placeholder design, recognizing that there are concerns about access, all the things that we've sent them lists about.
Yeah, right.
The bridge capacity, the
Safety plan, all that stuff.
safety plan, sight lines, blah, blah, blah. Another long list with regard to the dam, hazardous disposal and all that stuff. But they're gonna develop cost estimates for this. And that application with those cost estimates is then going to the state of Vermont, which is which has a group of representatives from all the regional commissions, all 11 of them. And they are gonna go through all the applications for this pool of money from various towns and pick what they think are the winners, or eliminate the ones that are the losers, yeah.
Cancel.
And that's gonna happen sometime around July of this year. And at that point, these applications get submitted to FEMA. But not FEMA community assistance, this is FEMA. And they are going to take 6 months to pick the real winners and they're gonna know what the budget looks like. And so they're gonna pick the winners. If we're a winner in after that round, which will be done around, pick a month, February.
February 26th.
26, okay. Then starts a year of final design, working out the sight lines, the load capacities, the exact ground elevations, the is it hazardous, is it not? All the details, and that is going to be a very collaborative process with the library, with the town, with the community association, with the upstream landowners, et cetera, all those projects. And then, so now that takes a year. Now we're in February 2027. And at that point, you're gonna have really detailed designs down to the last nut and bolt. You're gonna have cost estimates. And you're gonna have funding for those numbers. Bless you.
Thank you.
So when we've got all that, we go out and out for bids. And we go through a bid process, we choose contractor or not. And all these are gonna be fixed price contracts. So we send it out for bids, we review the bids, we choose a winner. And then the winner has to, you know, buy the bridge and contract with a concrete guy for the bridge abutment, and, you know, all the other details. And by the way, neither one of these projects can happen outside of the window of July 1st to September 31st. So I'm guessing by the time you put it out to bid, chosen a bidder, and gotten the mobilization thing going, the chances are minimal that we can get the work done in the window, the 2027 window, which means 2028. So that's how I see it going.
So that sounds like there's no design work.
For another year.
There's no design work between now and April 30th.
No
date, which
design
is
work.
what I think
We just
we're-
have this placeholder design. You're gonna remove the dam, get rid of the sill, you know, do the, you know, the improvements.
Okay,
You're gonna build a bridge. It's gonna look like a pony bridge. This is what pony bridge is called. We haven't chosen the bridge we're looking at. We haven't chosen the color. We haven't, you know, really drilled in on the exact width. We haven't decided exactly, you know, how much the roadbed is going to be raised or not. We haven't done any of that. So the time that we're really gonna be engaged in this is going to be, you know, if we're lucky, starting first quarter of 2026.
Question.
Yeah.
When the people are applying for this grant, writing the application for the grant,
Mhm.
they're gonna use some numbers to come up with a tentative figure.
Right.
How old are the numbers they're using? Because from past experience, lots of times we get numbers that are several years old.
Mhm.
And being as we had 2 years of severe inflation plus last year, and I know they said they had a 30% buffer that they would add on to their number once they got it,
Mhm.
but what's taken place for inflation in the last 3 years would pretty well wipe out that 30% buffer.
Yeah, I
And
had
we're
the
looking
same
at
worry,
designs,
Denny.
Yeah, we're looking at
But-
designs in 25 now that won't be implemented until 28,
28,
which
yeah.
is 3 years,
Those are-
potentially 28.
Those
yeah.
are major issues.
Yeah.
No question. And you know, if you have a grant for 100% of the cost of the thing and it's not enough, and the contractors come back and say, we can't do it for that, we have a choice. And the choice is scrap the project, don't do it at all, or look for some other sources of funding because we believe in it. But I don't see that we're under any obligation at all to, you know, if this isn't 100% funded, it's gonna take a pretty good sales job for me to want to jump in and spend this money.
Well, all I'm trying to do is have them be up to speed and not start from, you know, in the hole.
Yeah, because
When
we're
I'm
gonna,
asking about the numbers you're using.
we got enough of a hole being built for us in the next 3 years without adding 2 years past
2 or 3 years.
experience. Yeah, I agree with you.
Because
Yeah,
bring you folks up to speed, lots of times when we get aid or something, the state or government will give us cost per hour for equipment. And it's way behind the times. It's nowhere near updated. So that's why I'm asking the question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's great.
yeah.
Jim, I would appreciate it if you, you said that you've traded phone calls with Alyssa. It would be great if you just sort of went through the timeline you just went through with us. If you go through it with her and say, is this right?
She's where I got it, but
Okay.
I will go through it with her,
Yeah.
absolutely. And one other thing that Debbie asked for is that we get a hold of the April submission so we can, you know, stick it in our files and look at it.
Mhm.
And it'll be a
Yep.
good departure point for us to, you know, mull over and think of, you know, all the other issues that we have.
Yep.
But Yeah,
Good, great. Thank you. Thank you for taking that on.
Is there anything else on number 6 while we're memorial?
You good, Debbie?
Do you hear me, Debbie?
Yes, no, thank you, and I'm grateful that, you understand, and I know you guys want to be part of the process, and we just want to be part of the process. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
We got some forms here for the.
Oh my God, yeah, I'm good.
You don't
God.
sound
Oh my
good.
God.
What'd you do?
Just hit my knee against
Banged it,
the,
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
felt really bad.
You know, the library table is available right now. We want a bigger table. Just saying.
That's
Bigger
got the
table.
legs in the corners too, right?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
huge.
Well, a bigger table wouldn't be bad.
Denny wouldn't even be able to see the people at the other end of the table.
He's
Okay.
like Batman and on his dinner table. you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But I'm
There
just
is a plaque on the end of the table right here.
Oh, there is? What does it say?
It says,
Something about a Parkhurst.
was donated by Lewis Parker for many years in his Boston office. He used this table in his Boston office for many years.
There's probably a plaque on the library table too. I'll see what that one says. We can have competing tables.
You know, we could hit Stratton up for some of the pads they wrap around the
Oh, yeah, like that.
chairlift.
Chairlift.
Yeah,
Yeah, sounds a good idea.
Sorry. Okay.
But this next one, they want us to sign it for the Rivers Project,
Right.
but I have a few questions about it because the pages aren't numbered, but where they want it signed, that page here.
The maintenance agreement. Yeah.
Yeah, maintenance agreement. We have no rough sketches or anything to see what they're planning to put in there. And, you know, it says keeping vacant land clear, debris, garbage, keeping stream channels, culverts, storm drains, and debris, and detention ponds, clear debris, trees, and woody growth. And
Mhm.
we have no idea what we're looking at for maintenance.
well, it sounds like the same maintenance we've got for this bridge, basically.
Well, we don't have retention ponds for here. and-
Well, we're not gonna have any retention ponds in any.
Is that a typo? Are they detention ponds or retention ponds?
Should be a retention.
Well, that's what I thought, but I don't have.
And Jim, the
Let me ask Alyssa about this. This is from
It's from Alyssa.
Alyssa, right? It's not from,
well, I think of it, Jim,
yeah,
they are aware, these engineers and designers, of the big drainage culvert that comes from the other side of Route 100, comes over and crosses, comes up the side of the bridge.
mhm.
Are they aware of it?
Good question.
Because they're not aware of a lot of other stuff. Maybe you might want to mention that one too, because I got an idea where they get digging for abutments for the new bridge, they're gonna run into it.
So you're gonna check with Alyssa about
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
These are mine.
yeah. Oh, have I been getting them to you?
No, I don't know.
I don't know what I'm all so screwed up.
You got them everywhere.
I know.
I'm just piling mine right here.
What happened to them?
So are we gonna table this for now? Because
Yeah, I'll call
we
her
need more
and-
information
yeah.
on it.
We can sign this next time.
They also would like a letter, so I don't know who would like to pen a letter.
A letter of support for the project.
Mhm.
Maybe Jimmy could find out what that letter needs to
I'll
say.
have her write us a letter,
Yeah,
write our letter.
Perfect.
I like your
makes
style.
sense.
Yeah, yeah.
All righty. Good.
Now, I'm not sure how much you know about the town plan or Brian knows about the town.
Well, I've been reading it. I
And
can't lie and
Katie?
say I completely finished it, but
I have read a little bit of it. I had not
I have,
finished
I haven't done it.
I'll give you a brief history.
Mhm.
The Planning Commission had a bunch of meetings and they wrote up what they were gonna do for the town plan. And then the select board, February, sometime in February, we went through, made some changes and
Oh, I think I got kicked, I think I got canceled out of the meeting. Yeah, they kicked me out of the meeting.
What? Executive session?
No, but I went I stopped my video, so they must have thought I was going off, but I didn't say I was. Should I try to get back on or not really? Yeah. Well, do I really want to stay on? I could try to get back on. Okay. Oh, no, wait a minute. No, mine.
You should show up in the waiting room.
Well, all I have is a black screen.
Sorry,
Okay.
the computer restarted. I don't exactly
Do we
sure.
have anybody else online here? Is it just us?
The whole computer just restarted for
It's
no
just
reason,
us.
so
Okay.
right now.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
And
Debbie's
Debbie-
there.
Debbie's
Oh,
Debbie's still
Debbie's
there.
there.
Yeah.
So sorry about that, Debbie. The whole computer just restarted without me even knowing.
Okay.
Okay, we're not doing.
Okay, number 9 is a buyout.
So we have 3 properties that have applied for the FEMA buyout. The first one is 790 Vermont Route 100, and he has accepted their offer of 170 for Mr. Hart.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, FEMA sent over the buyout information for Mrs. Fidelity. I sent it to her, or I guess it was Monday, I sent it to her on Monday. She is also going to accept that buyout.
And what's
So
that address?
That is,
Also Main Street, right?
yes, the red house on Main Street.
Right, just opposite the
The one that was for sale.
firehouse. Yes.
Okay.
I can get it for you in this.
No, it's all
Yeah.
right. No,
off
I
the
just,
top of my head.
I think it's 6
Um,
something. No, it can't.
We have no paperwork on anything other than,
On Mr. Hart's right
On
now.
Mr.
oh,
Just
okay,
got it.
good. Thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
There was an
Uh,
email
that's
you
the only
sent
one.
on that one, right?
yes, so I
Yeah,
just
that's what I
sent
saw.
everyone the email
Okay.
on Monday
Yeah,
or
yeah.
possibly
Right.
yesterday.
Yeah,
I
I got it and looked at it, and,
I think it's great, I think they're great offers, I do just think that we have to, again, make sure that everyone reads the maintenance agreement things that are also attached in those.
The maintenance agreement that we are signing up
Yeah.
for.
And then I also, on my end, should we have the lawyer be looking at this? I mean, I don't, you know what I mean? I just don't know that we are about to enter into an agreement on 2, possibly 3 houses being torn down and that we'll end up being responsible
Turned over to.
for. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, there's another part of this that I'm not sure about, and that is the tearing down of the house and then cleaning up the property. And I didn't read this one, but I did read Stacy Fideli's one, and I want to be crystal clear about that, because
that can be expensive.
that worries me more than the ongoing maintenance. The
Because that
ongoing,
needs to fall on them, right?
no, that
Falls on the
puts,
state.
that falls on them. My understanding
That's what
is
I'm
this
saying,
deal is, this is cost-free for us.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Except that these properties will no longer be producing tax revenue,
Yes.
and we're gonna have to mow the lawn.
We can't, nothing else can ever be built
Right,
there,
green
Yeah.
but
space,
we
right?
have to.
Right,
Well, we won't have much lawn to mow on the one we're
Right.
talking about, because the state mandates that there's a certain distance from the river that has to be left to the wild. Well, if you look
Oh,
at
so
all
that's
that
the White House,
wildlife
yeah.
was conserved up to there, that's why that brush is growing up.
Okay.
So that's this house, the White House.
Yeah.
And I can certainly arrange a meeting with Sage, who is the main contact, and then there's a Lisa and another Maggie, Maggie Clark and Lisa Code. If we have questions, I just didn't know, I just don't wanna sign all the paperwork and then,
no, I think we've gotta be crystal clear
Right.
about, these seem
so
like
if he's
details.
moving forward with 2 out of the 3 properties, I just wanted
Yeah.
everyone to be aware
Yeah.
of and.
And the other one's coming along, that's the Bad Man house that's
Right.
sort of falling down right across from the entrance to Walker Farm.
Oh, I wondered what was happening with that
Yeah,
house.
that,
Okay.
and that was,
Other one on the triangle, or whatever, on the.
No, that's the.
No.
old-
No.
that's-
no, it's
No,
on the
this is right
They're
riverside.
not, yeah, they're not doing.
Oh, that little one.
That little one that-
Santa in the window, yeah.
That had an air conditioner going
Yeah.
for
With this-
most of last winter, yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that
yes,
was the
yes.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the guy who owned it, whose name was Badman. He wasn't married, and the executor for his estate is a young guy who is a nephew of an old girlfriend or something like that. Lives in New York City. He's got 3 kids under 10, and he's got a job, and his wife has a job. And, you know,
Yeah, no time.
he just doesn't have time to get involved in this, but the application is in, and it's gonna go along. And honestly, that's the one, I think if we put a park bench on that property and mow the lawn, it would be
Very nice, yeah.
gorgeous, but maybe we won't be able to clear the brush. in front of the
No, I'm
river.
serious.
Yeah, I mean, but those are the things we need to
Know about.
know about.
So we'll table this for lack of information.
So does that mean to answer your question, do we need to reach out to a lawyer or not yet?
Well, I think we need to reach out, we need to get a meeting with those people so that we can answer the question of, you know,
Just
who's
touch
gonna
base.
tear this stuff, who's gonna pay, who's gonna tear it down, who's gonna do the site cleanup?
Okay.
You know, is this a deal where we have to do it and we'll get reimbursed, or are they just gonna come in and do it? You know, I just don't know. I think there was a time that I did know, but that time isn't now.
Another person you could check with would be the town manager over at Montal. They've had 2 buildings that I know have tore down over there.
Oh, yeah, sure. Right at the end.
The subway shop and then.
Yeah,
And
and
the-
then the
And.
Timber Inn.
Timber Inn,
Yeah.
my friend's on there,
Quick answer.
yeah,
There's somebody
Yeah,
now
I've seen
that's
it.
really crazy.
Right Smiths, yeah, they're good people.
It feels like it's now taking.
So do we know what's happening with the other properties right along the river there? I mean, the marketplace or the plumbing and heating place?
Plumbing and heating is still going. That's,
They're still
That's,
working
uh,
out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
okay,
still working
right,
on it.
right, okay.
and they're working out of there. and
Yeah,
They
okay,
were fine,
That's what I
and that's Daryl, and
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, he's,
I mean, the back part of his building, they weren't even using and, you know, water came in, went out.
and it's all plumbing, so it doesn't mind water.
There you go.
Well, I don't know if it's all plumbing. There's
Yeah,
probably a few computers in there nowadays.
Yeah, exactly.
but
Okay.
they've got the, you know, the first floor, that's hopefully where they put the computers. As to the
Marketplace.
marketplace,
Yeah. that's
I feel like I'm in a fun house every time I talk to him.
I've heard that.
It's, yeah,
It's really, you know, it's disgusting.
it
that
is
we pull- that
disgusting.
We pull into Weston and that's what we see.
Mm.
I mean, it's got cleaned up a little bit now, but it's really frustrating.
But it, you know, his idea of clean and my idea of clean
Yeah,
do not intersect
No.
anywhere.
slightly better than the old refrigerators out front for a year, right? But
Yeah,
Still.
yeah.
What, is their intention to continue?
His intention, he keeps telling me that he's gonna be open 6 days a week, 9 to 5. And he's gonna be selling gas, and it's gonna be a convenience store, but it's not gonna be breakfast sandwiches. And I don't know whether he's gonna have any lunch. I just have no idea. And I'm not sure he does either.
He doesn't have a time frame on it?
December 17th.
Well, it
Oh,
was
Last
December.
December
Yeah.
17th.
The last one, hard one, was December 17th, was before the snow flies,
yeah, okay.
so. It's,
It's all over again.
God,
Yeah.
our
I love
knees
your-
are taking a bit of a beating
Love the
today.
little student desk there. Look, there's an inkwell and a place for your pencils. I love that. Okay.
All right, we're at number 10. Sign for municipal planning services from the Regional Planning Commission. This is improving Weston's flood resilience.
And Kim, this is to just extend
The extension.
for the MTAP grant?
Right, we had, you previously filed an extension for April 15th. But we still haven't used up quite all the funds, and when I talked to the gentleman at Wyndham Regional, he suggested that we could push it out as far as August and give ourselves plenty of time. My intention is that as soon as we have the last of the funds spent, which I'm hoping will be in the next month, that we just submit, I'll submit then. But he said just give yourself enough time, and he
Yeah.
requested that you sign it again for an August 31st, I think.
Is that what this says?
August first, yeah.
Yeah, August first.
So that's all we're doing, is extending it.
Okay, I'm gonna move that we sign.
And this is the money that the Weston
the-
Flood Resilience Committee is spending on Maggie, right?
On Maggie, but also on Du Bois and King when they
Oh,
did the
gotcha.
hydraulic study.
Right, okay,
That is the original study.
yeah, okay. I'm sorry, you had a motion. Did you make a motion?
I did.
And
Second.
seconded, good, okay, thanks. Sorry to
That
interrupt.
includes me to sign it, because there's only one signature.
I move that Denny signs this.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, this next one is anniversary resolution, and when we talked about it last time, we were kind of led to believe that we wouldn't be putting any funds in it, but the third line from the bottom says optional resolve, Weston may provide funding for planning and implementation. And
That means we have permission to provide funding if we want,
If we choose.
but I don't think that requires us to
Yeah, it
provide
doesn't
any
say, it
funding.
doesn't say will
No.
provide.
Yeah,
but it doesn't stop them from asking.
And Howie and the Historical Society have agreed to.
Yes, he seems
Yeah.
excited.
He seems very excited.
he's pumped.
He loves this stuff.
I just noticed coming in that there's a picture and a whole bunch of signatures from the 200th anniversary of Vermont, right as you come in the door
Oh,
here, it's right
really?
on that wall, right there by the bathroom.
Yeah,
That's neat.
It was, except for one thing. They
Oh.
used a felt pen and you can hardly read any
Oh,
of
it's
the
faded.
signatures.
Yeah.
but didn't that get redone and those,
Yeah.
those
And had it
signatures,
re-
they're still a little bit on the faint side, but you should have seen it before.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's been worked on, so,
Oh, but cool. We should do
So
that
do we
again.
have a motion to sign on this?
so moved.
Yes.
Second,
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye. We all need to sign this or just?
Oh, yeah. Everybody gets a wrist action. I have nothing on number 12.
You wanted me to put that in there for, to get landowner permission.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up, probably they're old new, but I'll bring it up now. After the flood, there's a lot of stuff going on. And we are quite concerned about a section of Greendale Brook.
Greendale Road, Greendale Brook.
Greendale Brook.
Okay, yeah.
If you go up to Greendale Road, you will come to a short section of steel guardrail. The river used to come in and it was in danger of washing outside of the road. So the state and us, we built a stone wall there and put in a guardrail. Then after some high water, the river disappeared. Right. And it goes out to someplace else. Once in a while, it comes around there. But you can use that as a starting point. And if you look out onto the right, especially if you get there before the leaves go off, and up as far as the foot of the big hill, there's 2 or 3 huge clumps of trees, logs and brush. And I won't guess how much gravel there is there. If we can get landowner's permission, we can get a permit from the state. And we can go in and we can reclaim that gravel down to a level the state man will tell us to do. It's usually down to the water line at the time of the project. And we would stockpile that gravel someplace to use for future town use if we can get landowner permission. Jeff's talked to one and the lady said that if it was on hers, there'd be no problem, but we have to draft a letter and send to the other 2 or 3 landowners. I think it's mostly just one, but we'd have to probably get all 3 to do it. And then if we get their permission, I'll give Scott Jensen a call and make sure he's still on board with giving out them type permits, but it's gonna cost some money to do. I don't know how much, but what we're kind of scared of is them brush piles after they've been there for 6, 7 years, 8 years, being pretty rotted, and another high water bringing them down, and they mix with some new stuff and either clogging the bridge there just beyond the town barn or going down further to the one on Lawrence Hill Road. And so is it something that everybody feels we want to pursue, or something you figure it's none of our business, or what? I mean, I'm not trying to force anything down anybody's throat. I'm just giving you all the options. And Jim, you got something to throw in there?
I've been down there. I mean, it's worth a trip. It's just massive amounts. I mean, they're 12 feet high. These piles of logs that have just been caught.
I'm sorry, are we looking north on that?
On the right hand side of Greendale.
As you go upstream or toward Jenny Coolidge or the state campground,
Yeah, yeah,
national
yeah.
campground,
Yeah.
it's on the right.
Okay, good. That's all I need, thanks.
And it's kind of cool. You scramble down the back just on the upstream side of that that guardrail, and then walk up a couple hundred yards, about a couple hundred. And I would wear high boots because you're gonna have to cross the brook, although the brook on this side doesn't have much water, although, you know, maybe that's changed.
It moved underground someplace.
Oh, okay. Oh, underground. Wow.
But anyway, I think that kind of preventive maintenance is really important, because, you know, the flooding that would happen to the houses that are just upstream of that brook, you know, if that bridge gets clogged up with all that trash.
And then
that
if you
would be
go
bad.
further up to where Jenny Coolidge Brook meets Greendale Brook, just below there, there's another big area of gravel. I don't know about the brush. There's another huge area of gravel. I mean, it's just, I don't see as we can do much on Jenny Coolidge Brook, because most of that's government land, and that would involve a nightmare of paperwork if they let you touch it.
So is this something that we would just approve, or would we say, let's find out what the estimates are and whether we can get the state to approve it, and then we approve that expenditure of money?
Well, I think what we do is get landowner permission first,
Oh, right, sorry, yeah.
and then we get Scott Jensen, the water man's approval. And I haven't talked to him, but I think it was something Jeff and town group could handle.
So do we want more information before we say go ahead, or should we just say go ahead?
Should we start with a motion for getting permission?
That would be where I would start.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll make that motion. We solicit landowner approval. And maybe part of that permission request should be that, you know, we haven't approved that we're gonna go ahead with this, but we're gonna
Explore
explore the
the
possibility. And I think we ought to say we'll, you know, offer to come back to them and just say, okay, now we've got this thing figured out. And this is exactly what we wanna do. Are you still on board? I think that would be, because we can't say exactly what we're gonna do now,
Right.
but,
Makes sense.
But if somebody wants to go hiking, when the snow is gone, they say it won't leave there for a while.
It's pretty shady.
Good
out
place to walk your dogs,
there. There you go.
but,
So where your motion is to send a letter to the landowners and ask for permission to do this work.
yeah, ask for. Yeah. Tell them that this is a little complicated, tell them that we're investigating clearing those log jams and picking up the gravel that's in the way of the river. And getting permission from A&R, Scott Jensen, to do this work. And then before we proceed with the work, which won't happen before this summer, we'll review our final plans with them and get their final
Yeah, yeah,
buy-in.
good, okay.
That's a very long motion, but
can you
I'll second.
draft the letter, Shauna, or?
Yep.
Okay. I think you got the gist of what we would like to do.
Makes sense.
Let's see,
Do we need to vote on that motion?
probably should.
do we have a second?
I
I
second.
second it.
Okay.
All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Okay, number 13 is sign members for single signature authorization. We used to have to do that because sometimes it'd be through periods, but it's been reduced to 2, but it would still be nice to have the authorization. So if something happens and we can't meet or whatever, one person just comes in and signs the pay orders and other one. And so previously, I think we left it so that any available member could come in and sign it.
I know in the past it's happened, like, if there's a snowstorm and we cancel the meeting, someone would stop by the office and sign all the pay order so that we could get the paychecks out the same day, or sometimes, like Kim said, sometimes Christmas Eve is like the select board meeting, and we don't usually, or in
Meet
the
on
past,
Christmas
we
Eve.
don't usually do that, when someone will come in and sign.
With Santa?
Or if we run out of postage for the postage meter and we need a check
For
signed.
the town clerk, the town report is what we.
Okay.
Yeah,
So if somebody would provide us.
So I'm gonna move that any one of us are authorized to sign, a pay order at Kim's request.
Excellent.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 15 is,
I'm sorry, who seconded? I just.
I did.
Okay, thank you.
this is
Just make it up, Shauna. I didn't say that.
I didn't hear you say a thing.
this is compliance for town road and bridge inventory. Oh, there's all kinds of places.
Oh, we have 14 first, which Kim just wants everyone to be aware that the audit is going to be the first week of April, correct?
Right,
Audit.
auditors will be here, we have a town audit every year. And our auditors will be here on the 1st and 2nd of April. They generally want to speak with at least 1, possibly 2 select board members, just to make sure you think things are on the up and up, or whatever, I'm not usually in that. So the other thing is, they bring it up every year, it's always part of our final write-up. I do something called journal entries, most of them are pretty nondescript and innocuous when I have to post interest or simple things. But when I have to move money, which is sometimes tens of thousands of dollars, I have to do a journal entry. They have asked for somebody to review those, we've been struggling to get that reviewed in the past few years. So if anyone would like to discuss it with me and would like to volunteer to do that on a going forward basis, because we're we're really obligated to have another set of eyes on those journal entries, just besides me.
Yeah, and in the past, Tim was our go-to guy because he, you know, all his IRS and accounting expertise and
And honestly, he felt it was a bunch of hooey. And that's a direct quote. Because he said you're not gonna, anyway, it was a gruffy comment from Tim, but it's still a requirement, and it is one of.
but he never stopped smiling.
He never ever stops smiling. So if someone would like to volunteer, I'm sure Jenny would be more than happy to not do it, right?
I'm not an accountant. I can run a lot of numbers in my head, but I'm not an accountant.
Yeah, and the only other thought I had was, is there someone that you can think of in town that you would like to ask to sit down and review it with me, that you would feel would be working on your behalf? And that's entirely up to you. I'm just trying to find an answer to a solution that it's been a real struggle for the auditors.
So it doesn't have to be somebody on the select board. It could be somebody who has accounting expertise, for example, and could
That
review
you all would
this.
approve of. That's my only other suggestion, because we don't have a CPA amongst us anymore.
Right.
No, I don't, I'm
That's not
sorry.
gonna be your thing.
That's not gonna, sorry, no, it's not gonna be my thing.
Thinking about who else.
I know, I was like, do I know?
Something to think about.
Yeah,
We don't have to
Yeah.
come up with a name tonight. Be nice, but we don't have to.
Do you have a suggestion?
I don't.
Okay,
I can think of people in town who have CPAs and, you know, accounting backgrounds, but.
does Mark Refner have an accounting background?
Oh, yeah.
yes, he does.
Maybe he's a possibility. She's not usually here in April.
Well, it's something that goes on throughout the year.
Oh, I
They'd be
see.
happy if somebody just did it quarterly. They
I
just want
see.
eyes on the journal entries.
Yeah.
And I'm moving money amongst special funds. That's, you know, the biggest chunk of the big numbers. When I allocate taxes and put them into the different spots, when I pay, you know, not when I pay stuff, but just special funds in particular are where I move a lot of money around. So just needs more eyes on it, that's all.
She brought up special funds, so I'll just mention this for you folks. Usually in the summer, we have to take what they call a TAN note, tax anticipation note, because we run out of money. So when we borrow money, we borrow it from ourselves from some of these funds, but we pay it back with the appropriate interest.
Oh, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on the good news related to special funds, we did get another 168,000 reimbursement that I have put into the highway contingency fund. So we've nibbled away at our negative balance on that to 115,000. So I have to get with Lisa Yersha and ask her what else she is expecting to come in for reimbursements. That just came in the last.
But that's FEMA.
I believe so. It's
Yeah,
all coming under
yeah.
the same grant code, so I
Yeah.
believe it's FEMA. Through the
Great.
state. Anyway, that was good.
That's good.
Great.
It's really good.
That's a nice gift, 168.
Well,
It wasn't.
We
yeah.
spent it.
I
No,
understand, yeah.
but
We spent.
it's good news now, but after the 2011 flood, yeah, I'm gonna say it was 2018. FEMA come back after an audit, said we owe them a refund of $1,800.
It's never over. It's never over.
Yeah, great.
So we kind of laughed because we figured it cost them a hell of a lot more than $1,800 to do the audit.
Yeah, 8
And
years
take the
later,
trip.
7 years later, whatever.
Anyways, so we are back to the certification for town roads. Bridge standards
This is,
yearly.
yeah, this is yearly and we, did Megan Brunk sit down with us? and-
she came in last week.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm not sure, what is this?
I have sat in on these meetings and Megan Brunk gets our town budget or our previous year's thing, and she forms a bunch of magic on it and comes up with these numbers. And honestly, and it has something to do with the state highway grants and bridge grants that we get, which, no,
Basically what she does is she comes in, looks at their budget that got approved at town meeting. She'll throw out certain things that have nothing to do with the actual roads. Then she'll figure, what is it, 40%?
I don't know the exact.
She'll figure a percentage of our budget. So if we have an incident and the incident goes over that percentage, then we become eligible for state aid.
Huh.
Say like there was a huge thunderstorm and it washed out a section of road.
Mhm.
And if it costs 25,000, the town eats it. But if it costs 30,000 plus, the state helps us.
Oh, I see. Nice. So this sort of this plan sets the baseline.
Right, because if you look at it, it says up here in the top, the town tax funds is $1,000,009.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then down into the next box, she's got it broke down winter maintenance and summer maintenance.
Yeah.
And she gives us two different figures, one for the winter time and one for the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't stay for all the meeting that day. I had a meeting in Rutland I had to get to, but
So we have to sign our approval of this, is that right?
And who does this go to? I'm sorry, this is state? No,
yeah,
okay.
the state.
So I'm gonna move we sign this.
Here it is.
Second it.
Beautiful.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Figure out what we're signing.
That we are eligible for a structured grant and a road grant this year.
Oh,
For paving, we apparently the towns that she deals with, like her section, well, I guess all of Vermont towns get ranked on how much mileage they have in paved roads. And that's when the state comes in and, I think Jeff and her will choose some paved roads that will get repaved.
Oh, okay.
We haven't had that grant in 10 years apparently.
we're gonna repave. Were you saying Priory Hill or?
We were talking about Prairie Hill and Jeff had another road that he was gonna talk to Mark. He was gonna have a meeting with Mark after she was here, but they had some beaver dams let go over in Weathersfield, so Mark and them guys went up there to take care of that, and she was the only one that showed up here.
Okay.
So I imagine he will get to be with on that and go from there. All right, so I guess now we're at payroll and report number 6.
Do I have those?
Now I've got $10,374.37.
Do you not have that, Jim?
I don't, okay. So I'm gonna move approval of payroll check warrant report number 6 in the amount of $10,374.37. Because I recognize all the names on the list. And the names look reasonable.
I second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, boy.
That's a cheap one.
It's my great pleasure to move approval of accounts payable check warrant report number 6 in the amount of $35,386.85.
I second.
Any discussion on it?
And we're excited because it's,
Low,
oh, okay, great.
yeah. Yeah, seven
couple times.
figures.
Couple times a year it goes well over $1 million.
Oh, I guess it is low then.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's-
good.
When our school taxes are due.
Oh,
to the
gotcha,
state,
right,
you
right,
know.
right, okay.
That's when we need that tax anticipation note, because that's usually due before taxes are due in October. Okay, so we're okay to roll here, right? What happened to 1, 2, and 3?
Alright. Oh, they're over here. Here's your 1, 2, 3.
Jeez.
That was mine for a minute. I'm like, wait a minute.
Alright, old and new business. Can come under old or new, but being is we have 3 new people. I'm not gonna specify which it is, but the front of the town office, the posts look kind of crappy. And I believe there's some work that has to be done around the door jamb.
Mhm.
And usually when we do projects around here, we try to get 3 prices, but it's pretty near impossible to get 3 prices on small projects. And as you've noticed by now, the light on the outside of the building don't work. And I know a couple of retired guys that do carpenter work part-time, and if you want, I can contact them and see if they'll come in and look at the fixing the post and doing whatever needed around the door jamb. You know what's needed, Kim?
On the door,
Yeah,
I think it needs the sill taken out.
Yeah, the sill is rotting.
The concrete got brought right up to the wood, and that's just allowed the wood to seep in some of the moisture. So I think we had talked about just a whole new door, but it's almost needing some investigation to see what the depth of the damage is. There's some certain dry rot on the pillars out front.
Yeah.
That would, I would hope would be an easy and not deep fix needed.
and so if you want, I can contact these guys and see if they're interested in it. If not, we'll have to-
I'm gonna move you do that, and just to add, I can't remember, but in our purchasing policy, I think we don't have to get 3 bids on projects that are less than, is it $8,000?
10.
Maybe 10, yeah. So, because, you know, by the time you've done it,
It's not worth the time.
it's hardly worth it, so.
The other thing is night light out there. We've had various ones say they're gonna fix it and stuff. And I've been thinking about it, and I'm not an electrician, but we have a plug-in on the outside the wall there that was there for a charger on a snowblower.
Yes, right.
So there's power there. And it would seem to me, it wouldn't take much to dig a little ditch, put a new buried wire and pipe conduit out to the pole. And I'm sure that there's a sensor that they can put on side the building that
Nice.
will turn it on for us. A ton of people have said, oh, I can fix this or that. And how long's it been, Jim?
Uh,
5 years?
A long time, it's time, I think we ought to include all this. If those guys, if your guys are ready to do it, I think we ought to,
If I can't do the electrical, I've got the name of another guy.
okay.
And the light on the light post, the lamp, the flag, I tried a solar thing, I'm, again, like, not a handy person. Obviously, it didn't work. Jeff, you should replace the light bulbs in the lamp post. They are working, but I can't figure out how to program. I tried to reprogram the gadget inside and I'm not sure I was successful at that either. But I did push it and turn it on.
So I'll get hold of these guys. And see what they say, try to have an answer at next meeting, whether they're interested or not. If they're not, we'll go back to square one. And then we have a job application that I'd like to go over for the three of you to kind of get used to the idea. And so I guess we should go to executive session to discuss a job application.
I just have Denny, if you don't mind, I'm sorry, for the appointments that we did at the last meeting, I just need a signature from you for Kara for Wyndham Regional and then for Rusty for the DB fiber. So just right there, that's for Kara. And then also in old and new business, there is a update from the library from Linda, if you guys wanted to review that.
Yeah, that's really just an update that says where we are. It's a lengthy report because I put in a lot of the history of the project for Katie, you and Brian. So it's the good news is that the library has now been moved to OPC as of today. And as soon as we get we need one more building permit and we need to get some builder's risk insurance. As soon as we have that, we're ready to go ahead with Bread Loaf construction which we hope will be in middle of next month, middle of April, to get started on the project. It's really exciting. It's very exciting. Yeah.
Have you got driveway access permit yet?
That's what we have to, that's one of the permits we have to get, I believe.
Anything else under old new business before we go to executive session for the job application? Yep.
We go into executive session.
I'll second.
And I left some paperwork for Linda.
You want these, Ken?
Got it.
Yes,
Yeah, I was supposed to bring you my passport.
that's fine.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll come back tomorrow. That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll come
I
back
told
tomorrow
them they
too.
had till September.
You had to September, right? Well, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.